In this group of training media, we will discuss the risk assessment section of the project. The risk assessment is really at the core of the information security management system you're building. Be aware of the importance of this section. In this first section of the training, we'll cover some of the general principles of risk assessments. This is a very broad topic. To be practical and effective, this group of training media will cover the main principles. For small risk issues, this should give you a sufficient understanding to conduct an effective risk assessment. However, if after the different training modules you don't feel confident about conducting an effective risk assessment, you should consult with experienced risk professionals. This is also important because during an audit, an auditor will assess the effectiveness of the person who performed the risk assessment. If the auditor deems that the person who conducted the risk assessment was not capable of doing an effective risk assessment, the organization may not pass the audit. If you're not sure, let SAS Assurance help you with making that decision. Let's move on to the general principles. If we take a step back, what we want to achieve is an information security management system that protects the confidentiality, availability, and integrity of an organization's assets. We also need to make sure we comply with laws, regulations, and contracts, so the risk assessment we conduct will help identify what stands in the way of us achieving those goals. Risks are what stand in the way. The risks that are identified are analyzed for likelihood and impact. After analysis, the risks are then evaluated and decisions are made on whether the risks are acceptable or not. For those risks that are not acceptable, a plan will be created to modify or address the risks. Hopefully by now, the objective for the risk assessment in this project is clear. It is to preserve the confidentiality, availability, and integrity of the assets within the scope of the project and to assure the organization's adherence to its legal, regulatory, and contractual obligations. Also be aware that the risk assessment will be a continual process. Risks will change. The importance of assets you're protecting may change, etc. You will regularly have to review the risk assessment to take the new situations into account. In the next section, we will use some examples to make this clearer.